All right, we're getting there. Having a little technical issue here. We'll be back with you, though. For the community with great advice, I know who I should go see. So Around Town Radio Show. Oh, there we are. My screen has gone haywire. So welcome to the program today, guys. It is live at noon. It's what we call a nooner here from All Around Town Radio, and we're bringing you a great show today to talk about. Going to have some fun folks in here to chat with us, and as I try to work through all this wonderful screen issues that just happened when we went live, I will bring in our guest if I can do that. Let's chat today with Tim and Melanie Carpenter. I'm sorry, Tim and Melanie Carpenter. Listen to me, I'm screwing it up already. Oh,
I like goodness.
That. I am so messed up. Croucher, Tim and Melanie Croucher today, and of course Tim Butterfield joining us. He's been on the show numerous times. Welcome to the program, guys. Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, we're like I said, I'm having a screen issue, so I can't see everything on the screen that I normally see here. Give me just a minute to work through that. But as we get started, I want to talk about this show you've got coming up. It's called Yesterday Once More, and I understand it's kind of bittersweet. It's going to be the final one of these you do. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So tell me about it. Let's talk about, because I don't know that ever in my lifetime I have heard anybody doing a tribute to the Carpenters. I think this is unique. It's just so cool. And I grew up on the Carpenters music, so I love it. So talk to me about how this came to fruition.
Well, it's not a real common tribute in this time where tribute bands are everywhere. It's really hard to find anyone doing Carpenters music, and we kind of happened into it. It's not something we planned for a long time, but Melanie and I have performed in numerous settings over the years, and we were doing a Christmas concert several years ago, and after we had finished our show, one of the audience members came up and commented about how much Melanie sounded like Karen Carpenter. And we found over multiple performances that we would get that feedback often. And finally, at one show, she had performed an Amy Grant song. And someone came up to her after the show and said, "You know, the song you did, that sounded a lot like Karen Carpenter."
Wow.
Yeah.
So it just came basically by an audience response, which that's really cool for me to hear. And why did you say, let's do a songbook of the Carpenters, though? Why did you say, let's do a show that's entirely devoted to the Carpenters? Because frankly, most people would probably look at you and say, you're kind of nuts for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we were fans growing up. That was music that we really enjoyed. We had done a lot of music together, and I kind of approached Tim about it after all that feedback. And I said, what do you think about doing a tribute band? There are tribute acts all over with less common groups. And I don't know of any doing the Carpenters. So why don't we give it a shot? And I suggested it, not realizing at all how much work that was going to be for Tim to get it ready.
Well, if I was going to do that music, that's just some of the greatest music from the 70s that I can think of, and I wouldn't want to do it halfway. And so I set out back in 2019, about mid-year. I started to put together charts. We knew it was going to take a sizable group to reproduce the recordings, and that was our goal, was to reproduce the recordings because that's the way that the people are familiar with the songs. We didn't want to do what the Carpenters did live necessarily. We wanted to try to bring those songs from the records back to life in a live setting.
Can I tell you how much I appreciate that? I do, because when people go out, especially when you're talking tribute acts, and this is one where their music was pure perfection. And you're used to hearing those songs on the radio still today, and they're timeless. And you want to hear them done that way. Some people take poetic justice. They do all their things. They make it their own and those kind of things. But these were songs that were iconic. And man, hats off to you for doing it the way the record sounded, because that's what the audience wants. I believe that.
Exactly. That's what they're familiar with. Those are the songs. They're the soundtrack of people's lives from that era. And yet we just wanted to bring that back. Those songs are not really as readily available on radio these days, even. You can find them on Spotify and streaming services, but just to happen across them in the culture or in your car radio, that doesn't happen nearly as often as it did a few decades ago. And so to be able to bring that back to life, also with the void out there of Carpenter's music being performed live, we saw a real opening there.
Well, isn't it funny how you like to hear music that you grew up with? And you guys offset here, we were talking a little bit about that. And I grew up listening to the Carpenters, the family vacation, so to speak, and what I used to call the old family truckster. We're traveling the United States, listening to 8 tracks that my mom would be popping in. And the Carpenters was one of her favorites. And I got used to listening to this. And at a young age, I appreciated the fact that Karen Carpenter's vocals were probably rank up there in the top 5 female vocalists of all time, in my opinion. She's just that good. And people will argue with me over that. And then you put together their combo and you had just beautiful melodies, and it's not easy music. You said it took you a while to put this together and make it sound like the records. It's not as easy and simple as it sounded back in the 70s, is it?
Definitely not. We have a 9-piece band. We use at times 3 keyboard players simultaneously to try to cover those beautiful orchestrations. Fortunately, we have a guitar player who's multi-talented, and he doubles on keyboard as well as guitar. And so we have dedicated backup singers. We have a wind player, drummer, bass player, and it takes that many people to get as close as we can. I mean, we could make it even closer, but only by adding more and more people.
Well, yeah, and their production value back in those days was amazing. And you look at some of those acts from back then, and Led Zeppelin's one that comes to mind. For them to do the records on stage, to make it sound like the records live, they'd have to have 50 players because of the way they layered things and all that. So I get where you're coming from, and it's admirable that you have this many folks playing with you. And I'm going to bump down to Tim for just a minute. Tim, why did you take this project on? Because you do some fun stuff, my friend. And why did you decide this was one that Tim Butterfield and your production company wanted to do?
Well, this is the second show that I'm promoting under Butterfield Entertainment. So I have 3 companies. I have Butterfield Engineering, Butterfield Lighting, and Butterfield Entertainment. This is just something, as far as promoting shows, is something that I've wanted to do for a while. I do have some more shows planned for next year, but the Carpenters, like you guys were just saying, I grew up on it, probably 8-track, probably an album. It was played in my house at my grandparents'. My uncle also loves the Carpenters. So because of all of that, especially, some of the Christmas songs, the Carpenters, for me, Karen Carpenter, definitely, top female vocalist of all time. She's my favorite female singer of all time. I love the Carpenters' music. As I posted online the other day, it's like people that really know me, people that only really know me know that. I don't, now everybody knows because I've been posting about it for a month or two. So, good music is just good music. Tim and I worked together many years ago. We reconnected here just recently, helped him out at his church with some lighting stuff. And we just got to talking, and he's like, yeah, me and my wife have this Carpenters tribute band. And I'm like, no way. Like, I love the Carpenters. I couldn't get out to see a show. Finally saw them just here this year because I'm always doing shows. And then Tim at the show said, hey, this is going to be one of our last shows. And I'm like, no, they didn't get to play their final show. Where was that at, Tim, over in Fairfield?
No, the final show was scheduled to be over at Spring Grove Arboretum Cemetery. They have a concert series, and we were scheduled for an outdoor show there, and it was rained out in some of the storms this summer.
Yeah. So they didn't get to play a final show. And just one day I'm like, nah, they can't let them go out like this. So I called Tim and I said, hey, I want to do this. I want to add some production to it. Make it a really beautiful, setting. We're having it at the 20th Century Theater, which for anybody that hasn't been there, it's been completely remodeled. It's absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a perfect setting and a backdrop for this music. We're not going to go crazy with the lights. We don't need to. It'll be a very classic look, but we will have some additional production for this show. And yeah, I called Tim and he called me back and said, yeah, let's do it. And here we are.
So now the rest is history, so to speak, or going to be history.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad to hear this is the last one you're going to do. And Melanie, how about you and the vocals? Are you ever intimidated by doing these iconic songs and wanting perfection? Because her voice was just so spectacular.
I do want perfection. I have her range, but being a singer in church, I prefer Southern gospel music. I had to let go of that Southern gospel kind of sound to do more of her enunciation and her delivery, which, it's quite a craft that you have to perfect. And I remember when I first started out, lots of tears, lots of saying I was quitting. Tim needed to get someone else. I couldn't do it. But I've listened to her probably 1,000,000 times. And we decided early on that we weren't going to impersonate her. I don't put on a dark wig. But our goal is when you close your eyes, we want you to hear Karen Carpenter. And I think we've accomplished that. I've had a lot of people tell me that they close their eyes and it sounds just like the Carpenters. So.
Well, if I were to sum up what you're saying, it sounds like it's an appreciation for the Carpenters' music and a love for that versus your hair metal tribute bands that all put the wigs on and do all those things. You guys are in there doing just a great thing to give people this music that they know and love. And when they hear these songs, and like you said, Tim, earlier, you don't hear it on the radio as much as you. I listen to a lot of XM radio, so I can dial in things like that. Sure. But it's a craft, and what Karen and Richard had harmony wise too was just some of those iconic harmonies from those songs. They're just amazing to me and still live on today. And there's a lot of groups that will say that they've listened to the Carpenters and were heavily influenced by them.
Yes. The fact that you had such an iconic voice is so unique. No one sounds anything like her, on other recorded media. And then you have an arranger and composer of the quality of Richard Carpenter. To have both of those people be brother and sister, that much talent in one family, it's just, that's why there's only one Carpenters, that much talent, it just doesn't happen. And that combination, Richard, he was the musical mastermind and Karen was the instrument. And it's just gold. The perfection that they put down onto the recordings. I'm glad we have those. We can always go back and listen to that perfection.
Absolutely. And Melanie, do you play drums?
No, I don't. And I wasn't going to learn it either.
Okay.
That's all I could do to learn the vocals for all the songs.
Just bringing the vote. Diana Halligan says she's looking forward to this. So excited. Thank you, Diana. And the Wanderers checking in, saying I've seen them before. They're top notch. There we go. Some good endorsements there for you. That's wonderful stuff. And Mr. Butterfield, let's talk about some specifics here. You said the theater is a perfect setting. You want to describe that a little more to the folks who may not know about the 20th century?
It's it's an old theater that has went through a major renovation. It just has that feel and that vibe, that classic feel. Tim was over there with me when we were setting the show up. And they've played some other venues here in town. I just felt like this was a better fit. I have a relationship with the folks at 20th Century. We support the lighting over there like we do at some other venues. And I just think it's a good fit. So we're going to have that kind of classic theater look, so yeah.
Did any of you here when you did this, did you go back in time and look at the old videos of the Carpenters and how they would perform? Because some of those videos too were ahead of their time, I think, back in the day that they put out. Like you said, simple, but yet very, very wrapped into the mood and the type of music they were playing. Did you guys do that, Tim and Melanie?
Mm-hmm, we did. I watched some concert footage on YouTube. We were looking for ideas because Karen Carpenter did all of her own background vocals, which I couldn't do. And so we were trying to see how they'd accomplish that. All the instrumentation that they had in the studio, what did they do on stage? And that was helpful. Yeah.
How did they pull that off in concert? Because she had all the backgrounds.
It was she and Richard. And I've heard a story told that if you remember the Carpenters song "Sing," they have a children's choir that's part of that recording. Legend has it that was the first time there was ever a voice other than Richard and Karen Carpenter's on any of their recordings.
They must have layered and layered and layered vocals over in the studio recordings. I mean, that was a lot of splicing of tape back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we didn't go as much to the live performances. We did go to see how they did certain things, but they couldn't reproduce those vocals live with their group. And really, in many cases, they didn't really even try. They did a live concert, however Richard structured it. But they didn't always try to reproduce the recordings. But as I said, that's what we set out to do. This is really not a tribute to the Carpenters. And if you look at our logo, it says a tribute to the music of the Carpenters. And so we're not out there to be Karen and Richard. We're out there. If someone came and closed their eyes and heard us start our show, didn't have any idea what we looked like, once they heard the first notes and Melanie's first delivery of vocals, they would know exactly what they were listening to, regardless of what we looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I completely love that. And I think that's one of the things I love when I go see tributes. If I can tell people I shut my eyes and I was like taken back in time and I was in that era and I was listening to the music that I loved, that's what matters. And I'm so glad you guys are doing this. It's so wonderful. Let's real quickly talk about your influences growing up in life musically. Let's chat. I'm not going to talk to Tim. I've already asked him all these questions back when, but Tim at the bottom, that is. So Tim and Melanie, how about giving me a little bit of a backgrounder as to how you got involved in the music business?
Well, I'll go because mine's a lot shorter than his is. I sang a little bit through school and choir, took a little bit of piano lessons, and then I really didn't do much music. I like listening to music. I love the 70s and the disco and all that. But I focused more on the church music. I listened to a lot of Southern gospel. And back in 2006, I was a charter member of a church that was starting. It was very small. And they said, if anyone, wants to sing, use their musical ability to let him know, the pastor. And I said, well, I'll try. And in 2006 was the first time I ever sang a solo. And I got really good feedback and response. And so I started singing more and more at church with soundtracks. And then 11 years ago, I met Tim Croucher, who is a musical genius, and he started playing for me. And we've done all kinds of music together now. And we'll continue to do that. I mean, we do a lot of church things. I don't know what I'll do next, if anything, musically besides church, but we'll see.
Yeah, if you hear Melanie sing and understand that she didn't ever sing solo until she was in her mid-40s, you just wouldn't even believe it. I didn't believe it. She told me that. I thought, that's impossible that you have that good a voice and you didn't use it until that late in life. But it's really something to behold. In the context of this music, it just comes across so well. As for my background and influences, I started playing when I was a real little kid. My parents put my older sisters into piano lessons. They thought I was too young at 5. So they started lessons. We got a piano in the house, and lo and behold, I started picking songs off of the TV and off the radio without even being in lessons. And so they shortly after that got me into lessons. I grew up, I like to say Elton John was my piano teacher. But
Awesome.
I always had a great ear. I could pull things off of recordings even as a kid, and I loved Elton John. And if anybody's a true Elton John fan, now in the Carpenters music you won't hear it because I intentionally play Richard's style, but just in other settings, that gospel-y kind of feel that Elton John plays with, that comes through in a lot of my playing.
Perfect.
And all through high school and through my adulthood, I've played in various bands, mostly private event kind of reception bands and that kind of thing. And also, I've spent my whole life as church pianist. I'm a music minister as well. So music. Even though Tim and I know one another from the engineering world, I had a 30-plus year career as an electrical engineer. My heart was really always in the music end of things. In fact, that's really what took me into engineering. I'd hoped to combine the engineering part with the musical part. I never did that professionally for my career, but I've always dabbled in it. I record at home, and the technical end is real interesting to me as well.
And Tim, you've played in bands. One of them that struck me as an interesting name was AM Gold. That says to me like that would be something I'd like to hear.
Yeah, we're a local group. We've got several shows coming up here over the next year. The whole idea, the full name of the band is really AM Gold 1970 through 1976. And the idea is it's the pop music you used to hear on the radio before FM took over. And so by about 1976, 1977, you remember if you're from the Cincinnati area, you remember WEBN and WKRQ. They took over from WSAI, AM 1360. And these are the songs, the ones we're doing are the ones that you would have heard on WSAI.
Gotcha. All right. And you play at Kings Island. You've done some things at Kings Island as well and some of their productions there.
Yes, I've played the last 4 years in Fest House, and over the course of that time, we've done a couple years. We did a 70s on Demand was the name of the show. That had some 70s pop, some 70s TV show themes, and some disco. And then the last couple of years, we've had Country Crossroads there at the Fest House. And so it's a real talented bunch over there. So I've enjoyed working with Jeff Smith and the crew over at Kings Island.
Outstanding. All right, Tim Butterfield, let's talk specifics about this show on Saturday. You're putting this on Butterfield Productions. Is that what we want to say?
It's actually Butterfield Entertainment.
Entertainment. Okay. Well, see, I got it wrong. Sorry, Tim.
All right.
And, you and I, we got to get together more.
Yeah.
Butterfield Entertainment is putting this show on at the 20th Century Theater. So let's chat about specifics to the show, Tim.
The show is this Saturday. Doors are at 6:30. Show will start at 7:30. They are playing 2 sets. We'll have about a 20-30 minute break. 2 full sets, so 14 songs in each set. Obviously, a lot of the Carpenters classics and some others. And Tim, you guys throw in some instrumental, give Melanie a break. And I think there's a Gary Moore song in there that features your guitar player.
Yes, our guitar player is a huge Gary Moore fan. So if that sounds appealing to you, as well as some Carpenters music, that'll be well received as well.
Yeah, we tickets are selling very well. We're almost a sellout on the lower level. We're going to see how things go. Tickets are available online at Eventbrite. Tickets will also be available at the box office day of show. We'll see how things go. We may open up the balcony to more folks if we get the demand. We're trying to, sell out the bottom level, and I think we're getting pretty close. So, even sold some more tickets since yesterday. So, looking forward to the response after this. And yeah, I hope everybody can make it out.
Outstanding. And again, eventbrite.com, if you want early bird tickets and pricing there, the price will go up at the door, just so you know.
Yep.
And you can find all that if you'll click on those links. And you can go to the event link on Facebook. It's called Yesterday Once More, and that is out there. You can find it as well, and it has a lot of great information on it. And, I admire you, Mr. Butterfield, for stepping into this world and taking chances on artists, because you do that a lot in your line of work with your lighting. And I know you're so supportive, but now that you're getting into the entertainment side of this, you seem to be really wanting to help the musical artists get seen and the people you admire as well. So hats off to you, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a love and a passion. I see a lot of shows when I'm working them, and I just kind of got to a point, and this is no offense against any promoter or any venue, but I'm like, I run a successful engineering company. I'm like, I can do this. And to be quite, honest, I'm still learning. So I'm blessed to be in the position that I am in my life, and to be able to, do all the things that I do. I very much appreciate the support from you, Scott. I can't say enough about what you do for the community and all the support that you give everybody. It's just, it's amazing. That said, a lot of folks, if you don't know, you don't know. There's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes for the kinds of things that Scott does and being in a band. And I know there's a lot of folks out there in a band, promoting shows and selling tickets, again, I'm still learning, and I'm going to continue into 2026. I already have some plans. I will be doing another large rock show in the month of August. So as I did this past year, that was a huge success. So, and we'll see, all these bands say final farewell show, but
maybe not. Let's hope not.
Maybe not. You never know. So, yeah. We'll just have to see. And Tim, also, by the way, is Tim, you got another band that you want to give them a plug here with your, what is it, the band called?
AM Gold.
Okay, AM Gold.
Yeah, AM Gold, doing hits from the early 70s.
Okay, great.
Go. And Tim, you got that voice like you were a radio DJ back in the early 70s or something there, the way you delivered that. Yeah. You're listening to AM Gold. All right, there we go.
Watch out, Scott. Tim's going to take your job.
He might. Hey, Diana Halligan has a question about a meet and greet that we popped up on the screen there. You going to have a meet and greet with these folks?
We don't have any official meet and greet scheduled, but we will be available after the show. Anybody that wants to come up and talk, we'd be happy to talk to them, and we'd enjoy meeting them.
And I'm sure the crowd that's there will have an appreciation for what you do and want to mix and mingle with you a little bit and talk. And that's wonderful. So thank you, Diana. If you're watching after we're live, everybody, which we know at noon, there's going to be a lot of you We want you to make sure you drop comments or questions. Tim will be monitoring this. Tim Butterfield will. And, of course, our friends from yesterday once more will have that on their page as well. So they'll see the questions pop up. Go ahead and ask questions if you have anything about them and their musical influences and such. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer it for you. And that brings me to this as well. I want to talk about any musical memories real quick you have, and we've got just a couple minutes here, but any musical memories that Tim and Melanie up there may have that really stand out in your lifetime for you.
Well, one of my earliest musical memories that I can think of, it comes to mind. I lost a dear friend here in the last couple of weeks, and I remember as elementary school kids, his family invited my family to go down to Riverfront Stadium. Van Cliburn, who at the time was the only American ever to win the international piano competition in Moscow. So it was a huge deal. He played at Riverfront Stadium with the Cincinnati Symphony, and just unbelievable. I mean, to a little kid to go into that stadium and see somebody play, hear that music, that was a real, that was a milestone for me.
Tim, was that Rick House?
It was.
Yeah, so we will be, Rick's brother's going to be there. Ashley's going to be there. We will be honoring Rick at the show. Tim and Rick were actually good friends. We were at the Sorg on Sunday together to do the Celebration of Life, which was fantastic. Sad, but fantastic at the same time to see people come together. Rick was actually supposed to do sound for the show. So, very sad.
There are very few like Rick, and I will say that, just a wonderful human being, and it's sad that he's passed on and left us, but he left us with some great memories for sure.
Sure did.
And, let's change gears one more time here, guys. And I always ask this of those I interview. Tim knows the question already, but you two up there, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you could take the stage with any one person, past or present or group or whatever, past or present, who would it be? Melanie,
Tim and I thought about this. Yeah, Tim and I thought about this before, and he knew what I was going to say. And so 100% Barry Gibb. I would love to do a duet with him. We could do Guilty, and I would take Barbra Streisand's spot. But I grew up in South Florida, and so crazy about the Bee Gees. Barry's still alive, so if he wants to, I'm available.
Barry, if you're watching, please reach out. All right.
For me, I guess it probably would be Elton John. It might be a little redundant, not that I consider myself his equal by any means, but style-wise, we definitely would mesh together very well. I'd love to take the stage with him.
I don't know if I could take the stage with Elton John without just standing there being a fanboy and drooling down my chin or something, because that would be the ultimate there to see him. Great names though. I love the Barry Gibb. Nobody's ever said Barry Gibb on the show when I've asked that question. So you're the first.
Good one.
Yeah, maybe somebody will ship it off to him. Tim, have you changed from your last one I asked you on that?
I don't remember the answer I gave you, but I think even on the last time I was on, I sort of teased. I did mention the Carpenters the last time I was on the show, and even
that was just a shameless plug.
Yeah,
for the show.
And then honestly, I had this in the back of my mind the last time I was on, and even sort of teased this potential of this show even before kind of working the details out with Tim. So yeah, I mean, if I could see somebody, I don't play, I'm the guy behind the scenes, but I love the Carpenters. I love Karen Carpenter. This is as close as I'm going to get. So, I'll take it, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited for everyone to see this. And it's just going to be great.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be fantastic to me. I am looking so forward to hearing the details of what goes on and how it went. And I would like to say again, let's make sure everybody that's watching today understands that we're talking about here today, Yesterday Once More. It's going to be at the 21st Century Theater, and it's going to happen Saturday, 6:30 on the door, 7:30 music starts, and tickets are available at eventbrite.com if you want to grab those up, and or at the door. You can show up that day if you're not sure your plans. Take a little drive to the 20th Century. Tim, give the location for those that are unfamiliar with it as well.
The location is 3021 Madison Road, Cincinnati, Ohio. So, and what is that area town considered? Is that
Oakley?
Yeah, Oakley.
Oakley,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oakley, right there, kind of in the heart of Oakley. So get there early. Should be plenty of parking. But yeah, get there early and get in the door. And it is reserved seating. So when you buy a ticket, you will be buying a seat.
Great deal. All right, Tim and Melanie, anything else you want to offer up there before we check out of here today?
We're looking forward to doing our final show. We've really enjoyed presenting this music. It's always so well received. People are, I will say, they're usually blown away by what they hear coming from the stage. It's all live. We don't use any tracks, and we're proud of what we put out. And we're really looking forward to everyone coming out and enjoying this with us.
Bring your tissues for me. And maybe Tim and Melody.
You guys have hit every check box today with there's no tracks. It's all live. It's the way the records sounded. That to me just says this is what you want to see if you love the Carpenters music. And even if you were just familiar with it, what a great night out. A beautiful, iconic theater. And these two giving you some wonderful entertainment along with how many other people in this?
We've got 7 additional people. It's a 9-piece band. We will have one extra special guest vocalist, my daughter Molly Croucher. She was our original backup vocalist. She's coming back from North Carolina to be with us this night. And so a 10-piece group on stage putting out great Carpenters music. It's going to be a great evening.
Well, and we hear it's the final one, but I would like to say maybe not. We could hope that you continue to live their music on, and maybe Mr. Butterfield can talk you into that with a few more shows down the road or something if this one's a great success. Sounds great, Tim. Great ticket sales. Again, guys, Eventbrite. Go on Eventbrite. Take a look. Ticket prices are very affordable for this great night of music, so check it out if you will. Anything from you, Tim?
Nope. Just want to say thank you again, Scott, for all you do. Really, really appreciate it. Tim and Melanie, thanks for putting up with me in this process of promoting and for everybody else that's out there that has to, endure my daily post of Carpenters videos. You're welcome.
Big thanks to Tim Butterfield for promoting this. To the people at the 20th Century, we love the venue. It's a beautiful place. You can't go wrong. Saturday night, it'll be a real nice evening.
Yep.
Well, if there's one guy that has an attention to detail, it's Tim Butterfield. I will say that he leaves no stone unturned. So thank you guys for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful show on Saturday night at the 20th Century. I'm sorry, I keep saying 21st Century, but 20th Century. And enjoy your show, guys. And folks that are watching today, please follow them, follow this event on Facebook, and see what's shaking with it for Saturday night. We'd love to have you. And also, we'll feature it on tomorrow's show. We'll be talking about it and many, many more shows for the next week on our Who's Playing Out segment at 5 o'clock, the best musicians and venues in the tri-state. So join us for that, everybody. Until then, I'm Scott, your host. Thank you, Tim and Melanie. And Tim, thanks for being with us today. We'll be back with you tomorrow.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Tim, Melanie.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
All of the show.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Just a reminder, everybody, the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities they may represent. We're out of here. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah.